Hello YouTube and hello Magic the Gathering community. This is Glossu and I wanted to record myself analyzing the run that got me to qualify for the next Arena Championship AC5 as well as qualifying for the Pro Tour because I was lucky enough to get all 7 wins in day 2 of the qualifier for limited Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Now, I'm quite new to recording and I haven't done much streaming before, so definitely not as versed or as comfortable, and probably the recording will be a bit clunky, but I don't want to be doing a lot of editing, so I'm hoping that this will all go well and I will accept suggestions on improving maybe the quality or maybe if my setup could be improved. But hopefully this video will be of worth and you will enjoy it, and this can also be entertaining and useful for anyone who will spend the time to watch it. So anyway, my journey for AC5 did not start with day 1 of the qualifier, but actually before that, the Qualifier PlayIn, since I had not qualified in Mythic 2050, so Mythic 250. So this meant that I had to play sealed on the Qualifier PlayIn, and I chose to do so in best of 1 because it's less of a time commitment, and also if you have to do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's really a lot on you and a big toll for playing. So I'd rather split it into different weekends. So we will start with the Qualifier PlayIn. I took 3 bullets, so third time was the charm, and I would like to analyze pretty much everything. So here we see the first pool that I opened. So if we filter by rares, these were the 6 rares that were given to me. 2 unplayable ones with Fabrication Foundry. Deepwood Pilgrimage is pretty much also unplayable unless you have like some nuts blue-green. But even then the Overflowing Well is a solid card, but nothing spectacular. As well as Dire Flail and Poetic Ingenuity. They're good rares, but they're also not like bombs. So obviously not a lot of power with the bombs. Then checking at the colors. So red and blue are the deepest, but we also need to check a bit of the power level. So in white we get a few early drops, which is always nice. In this format, white has quite a lot of early drops, which is nice for sealed. And also we have like some high quality with Altic Cloud Guard and spring-loaded saw blades, but it's also not like something that stands out to me. Just like fine cards, but it's not like super deep. Then with blue, we have the Lodestone Needle is really good, Oaken Siren really good. Then the Everflowing Well, and that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, Out of Air is more playable in sealed, but it's not something that gets me excited. And Council of Echoes is good if we go on Descent, but otherwise, I don't want to play that really. Iceberg is fine, but also blue looks quite shallow. Then for black, the early game looks amazing. We have Dead Weights, Bitter Triumph, Marionettes, Echo of Dusk, Snail. So like if we were to play the early game with black, that would be great. But then like the late game is lacking. We don't have Echo. We don't have Another Chance, which is a key card and super good in sealed especially. So fine for early game, but lacking a big oomph for the late game. And then red has a lot of cards. So this Diamond Pickaxe, 2 Diamond Pickaxe, I love that card. Really good. And then some creatures, a bit of removal, and Seismic Montrosaurs are fine as top end. I like that we get 2 Plundering Pirates and the Scytheclaw Raptor. Those are some pretty good cards. But yeah, so red, from what we've seen so far, I would like to play red if possible. Then lastly, green. We have some some solid creatures and solid top end with Stomper, Dreadmaw, Colossodactyl, and Twists and Turns. Those are cards that would make it good to go to the late game, but we're missing frogs. I would like to have some frogs. Staggering Size is good, but only really good if you're aggressive. I still always will play all copies that I can get. But yeah, it's not like a very amazing pool, and we don't have bombs, which is always a disadvantage in sealed. The uncommons, sorry, the gold cards and the artifacts also nothing special. So I see that we could do like black-green maybe and try to make a grindy deck, possibly. But red-green, we're missing a bit of the frogs, I think, and I don't want to get too much with the build right now. But bad thing with black-green is that we don't have bombs, so we would be at a disadvantage going to the late game. So maybe trying to get, I wouldn't say like an aggressive, but like a proactive deck would be maybe better. And I played a lot of Jeskai in draft in Lost Garments of Excellence, so I ended up going for a white-red build. But just seeing this again after several weeks, I would have at least tried to build black-green. Maybe let's do it now. So we could have this, and then Capybara are fine when we're talking about black-green. And then Spiders are great in black-green. Cavern Storm and Earthshaker, Dreadmaw. And this would only give us like 18 playables, right? So we could maybe like put some Compass Gnomes and splash something. So it's a good base, but also like not really reaching playables, and most importantly, we don't have grindy things like Another Chance and like bombs in black-green. So we have solid cards, but not really to get there. So in the end, I went for this build with red-white, and I've been a fan of red-white in this format quite a bit. I like the mid-range tap 2 things, and you can also get aggressive. So went with pretty much just like good curve, removal, some top end with the monster source. But yeah, like this deck is nothing really spectacular, right? I mean, this can get good with all the artifacts that we're using. And then we have some solid cards. Also Cloud Guard, but like we don't have bombs, so we don't have like a super high card quality. So we're trusting on being able to curve out, catching people off guard. These idols are fine, but it would be better if we had like, more flyers, more evasion. And Sunshot Militia is really good in this deck because we will get to tap a lot of things that have rectangles, but we only have one, and we also only have one Guardian, so it's not like we are abusing putting a lot of things on the board. But well, this is what I went on ultimately, and now we will check the games. All right, let's check the games for this deck. So we'll start with this first game, and I would like to have like bigger size for 17 lands, but if I increase the size, then it just gets out of the screen, and that's not nice. So this is what I can see at this point. Anyway, we get an opening hand with top end, but most importantly a diamond pickaxe and a 2-drop. So we can play this on 2 and then equip on 3, generate the treasure, and maybe even get to play Monster Sword on turn 4. That would be amazing. Let's see what we can draw, but this is definitely a keep in my book. So keep, and then I go first, so play the cave. We could play mountain and the pickaxe, but I'd rather just get the tap land out of the way, and maybe the pickaxe can be a bit of a surprise on turn 3 when they maybe play a bear to block. So opponent plays the blue cave. We draw Ingenuity, which is good. We have artifacts, we have dinosaurs, so that is great. First, play the cavalry, play an island, nothing else. Now, what could they have here? They could have the Pulpwood Champ. They could have Brackish Blunder. And normally I would play Pickaxe and equip and attack, but since we drew the Ingenuity, we want to play that for the turn. So we first go to combat, we play the land, go to combat, and then they fire a Lodestone Needle. So opponent wants to buy some time, which is fine. Because we drew the Ingenuity, it would have been a bit worse if we play, equip, and then the Lodestone Needle, we would have lost the whole turn 3 over there. So nice that we draw Ingenuity. Then opponent plays red, and we did also draw Flail, which is good. We draw another land. Now we play Pickaxe, and that triggers, so we get a 3-1, which is really nice. And then we equip that to the 3-1. And is opponent going to pass the turn? No, they play Confounding Griddle, which is interesting. Maybe they should have tried to reset counter the Pickaxe, but of course they don't know that I don't have anything else to play, so that's why they maybe pass the turn. But Pickaxe is also quite a good card. I don't know. Maybe in opponent's place I would have decided to counter, but I can understand that they decide to pass to counter my potential 3-drop. So they need to spend their mana. They look to get something, and what do they mill? They have a Freebooter, a Promising Vein, so they're also playing Blight, but they haven't drawn Swamp. So their turn, now they do draw a Swamp. They play Synapse Necromage, which is completely fine. Nothing out of the ordinary. So now my turn again, draw another land, and I'm going to be able to play Monster Star on turn 5, which is really nice. So attack, they block, exchange happens, and then just play a 6-5, and also the Dire Flail and get another 3-1. So Ingenuity kind of popping off, and that is great. Next turn, Iceberg, fine. What do they mill? They mill another Swamp. And nothing else, which in theory is good news for us. We do draw a land, and well, they could have removal for the Monster Sword with Join the Dead, or they could also have a Brackish Blunder. So it makes sense to distribute the equipment on the different threats. So put the Pickaxe on the Cavalry, and then Flail on the 3-1, and then just attack and see what happens. All of those things trigger. And they do have a Brackish Blunder on the 6-5, which is completely fine. They take damage, and look at that. We have a lot of treasure, so we can just replay the Monster Star again. Amazing. So opponent is in quite a lot of trouble. What is their answer? Chupacabra Echo is a really great answer. Kill Monster Star. And they also explore. They kept something on top. Acolyte of Aklatzots. Not a good card, but that's what they kept on top. And they play another land. Those things get in. Makes sense. Starting to flood over here, but we have a cave. So let's see what that gets us. It gets us a 2/2 bear, but it also gives us another dinosaur, which is great. Get in. Get those treasures, exchange, all fine, and they take 5. So now they have 1/4 and a Tithing Blade. We can sack the 2/2. Those get in, but now it's time to we keep drawing lands, but we can now flip this and get in for lethal. So that's what we do. We craft, we equip, attack, kill the 1/4 blocker, and get lethal. So that was a pretty nice game, even though we flooded a bit in the end. But the poetry, poetic ingenuity, if I can say the word, and also the flail, kind of like our bombs starting did some work over there. And opponent's deck seemed a bit clunky, and we did well. So that is good. Let's move on to the next game. So this hand also is we don't have white, so we cannot play that Tinkerstone on 3, but we do have a turn 2 play, as well as the Dire Flail, which can maybe do something. We decide to keep, and we are on the draw this time, so opponent plays red. We draw a Militia. So we play that. Okay, all right. The 2/3 haste, which is a good card. Nice that they don't play something else and they keep that for later, because that would be really, really bad for us later. But maybe they think they're on the play and that they want to put pressure. It's still a very good card too, so fine for us. Plundering Pirate is also nice. 2 rectangles, and also allows for some white in case we don't draw the planes for a while. Play our 2/2. Okay, they're playing Naya, and they over the edge are Dire Flail, which is fine for us, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely fine for us. We would like to have that, but I mean, if they're playing over the edge, it means like they don't have better cards, and 2 mana for our 1 mana card, and they don't play a 3-drop. So all right, they get in. We're still on the draw. We need to try to make this work, but we have a 3/2, get in, and we have a treasure there now. So we'll keep that treasure for now. They play Dino Tomato, so that still gets in. So playing this on turn 2 has been 6 damage for us. So it's definitely done some damage. But if they had another 2-drop and they had this in reserve now, they could also be like a Flametone Cabo. So pretty nice. We draw a planes, which is great. And now we play Tote. That thing gets in. We decide not to use that treasure because we can maybe either play Monster Sword the next turn or maybe use it for the Guardian. All right, that is definitely not so scary. I mean, yes, they will get and do us quite a lot of damage, but what do they discover? They discover spring-loaded saw blades, which they decide not to cast on the Plundering Pirate. So very expensive falter effect over there. We do take 6 and we go to 8 and starts to get a bit in the red zone. But okay, we draw our own spring saw blades, which is really nice. And we use that to kill Dino Tomato and Militia. Everything gets in. If they're going to race us, now we have the Militia. And now we're a bit exposed to something with haste, but I do have the board advantage, and I like my position. That's why I just get in. All right, so that gives them a bit of life, stabilizes a bit, but still the Militia over in this board state is just going to go nuts. So ping that. Now play a 4/4 and keep pinging. Opponent's in trouble. They need to find removal for the Militia, and even if they do find removal, there's still some other threats that they need to deal with. So that's completely fine. Not scary at all. And that is also not scary at all. So not very good cards from opponent over here. Again, ping, play the 6/5, and ping everything. Now there's an argument to maybe hold the Monster Sword in case of Glyph Bridge, but they would also kill quite a lot of stuff for themselves, and then I also have the loaded saw blades to maybe push there. So I just decided to play 6/5. Can be scared for a rare at this point, and they explore, but they don't get anything. So opponent didn't have a very good cards being played. Maybe they had some bombs with Hedge or whatever, but another game that we win with the deck. So really nice. Now we go on to the next deck, which is our first loss for this run. So this is a keep. Nice cards that we have, and also all our colors. Start with that 2/2. 1-2. An Oaken Siren is a really good card. I don't like to see it on the other side of the battlefield. We attack and we scry. We put that thing on top because that will deal with the Siren and also can be a 2-for-1. Then we play the 4-3, try to put some pressure on the opponent, enable our dex plan. And, well, some opponents don't like to attack. I guess they say like, I don't need that extra damage. So, but that thing has vigilance. You could have gotten in and then play this. This is a really good play for the opponent. They ramp into a 3-2 that blocks our 4-3 and also ramps. Pretty good card over there. So over here, we could remove the 3-2 and try to get in. But I decided to go with the treasure and this thing to put up counter and still get in with all of this. We bottom the Tinker's Tote. We don't have, if we had the Militia, this would be a good card to keep, but I'm trying to look for some more action. Then Petrify on the 5-4, that's not nice, but makes a lot of sense. Then Iceberg, all good, and they again do not attack us. High level play by opponent, but they probably missed that it has vigilance. Then we draw a land, get in. All right. Could have maybe decided to idle the Deep King, the Siren, in response before attacks, but I decided to keep it for the combat, and then they have Pop work. So they're going to try to eat my Parrot, but I do have this to save my Pirate. So that's nice that we don't get super blown out. Then they play Scout. Good card. They explore, and do they keep things on the... No, they bottom the 2-2. Makes a lot of sense. All right, so we draw our Dire Flail, which is good, and allows us to attack in, trade. Then they discover with the land 3-1, mildly annoying. We continue to draw cards and flood, but now it's when we can craft and equip and get in. We decide to destroy that. So they block like this. I was expecting them to trade and take 7, but they're jumping, and you know what that probably means, right? Yep, Glyph Bridge completely wrecks us over here, and they have another Siren. So this is going to be a very uphill battle. We need to draw some action. It's better than nothing, but we're trying to do something over here. Now they get their 6-6. Now they start to attack. Not the action that we need, but also our deck is not built to get this. So if we draw another artifact, we can kill that 6-6. That would be nice. Now they craft with their Glyph Bridge, not good. We do draw the artifact, but because of that stupid clause that we cannot attack if we have cast a spell, we cannot attack. And now they also have Clay-Fired Bricks, which is just a super good card, and it just really puts us in a almost unwinnable spot over here because we cannot swing with this and kill the Iceberg Titan. So that Glyph Bridge stealing a game as it usually does. Poetic Ingenuity over here comes too late. So that's what happens when there's a bomb like Glyph Bridge. It can just swing a game like that. And final game for this run versus Blue-Red. Sketchy hand over here. We don't have all our colors, but we do have 3 and a Plundering Pirate to maybe ramp into Monster Store. So I do think I keep, and we are on the draw again. They have blue. That's a really good card for them. They draw a Pirate. We don't have a Plains, which hurts. Would be nice to play some of the cards that we have in our hand, but we did decide to keep, and we drew 2 white cards, sadly, without a Plains. Iceberg allows them to get a card. They mill Malcolm, which is a good card, but not a bomb. Try to stabilize a bit over here. Playing this, they will still attack. So maybe trying to halt some aggression over here. They do play that to get in. But otherwise they would have maybe not played that. So still no planes, getting a bit screwed. And I just cannot take it anymore with the Magmatic Galleon. A bomb, it will kill this. It thinks this gets in. We haven't drawn our white. Not sure if there's anything in our deck, how it's built, that can maybe get us out from this position. But I mean, this can also at some point start to be crafted. It's not going to craft it immediately, but I just was not having any more. Like, we're going to 11, then this thing's going to get in, even if we play Monstrosaur the next turn. So yeah, I think I just said, like, I want to go to another bullet. So didn't start too well with me. All right, second bullet and second pool. If we go by rares, this mythic is nothing spectacular, by the way. It's a good card, and if you have instants, it can copy, but it only copies instants with rebound. The ancient one is pretty cool, so maybe blue-black would be nice. Jetlight Spelunker, great card, as well as Warden of the Inner Sky. But Tyrant's Journal and Restless Fence, just good cards, more niche cards. Like Red Black is not a deck that I like very much in LCI. So I think in general a bit better rares than before, but again, nothing like stands out and says like, yeah, Warden of the Inner Sky has great stats, but in sealed, you're not like in draft where you just vomit things into the board. Sometimes you have a bit more clunkier draws. So I do think it's a bit worse in sealed, although it's still a great card. Spelunker is always very, very solid. So unless we have a good blue-black pool, I think the pool is Spelunker, and hopefully we can also play any of these. I don't think these two are pulls into black, but if black is good, we could maybe make it work. Going back to the colors. All right, so just 8 cards with black. No matter how good these cards are, it just makes it kind of unplayable, and it's not like these cards are super good either. Marionette is great, but yeah, the others are just not good. So we have to discard black unless we can splash anything. And I think from all the black cards, the more splashable one is Akawali. I don't think the ancient one is very good on the splash unless you're, well, if you're black-green Descend, you can maybe splash the ancient one. So really only 2 cards that you can splash, but most likely we're not going to play black just for the density of cards. So what else do we have? The other colors are deeper. Red is a bit shallower, but so with white we have Reliquaries, which are pretty good, and Bat, which is also great. So we do have some nice cards over here. Guardian, Bat Colony not good. We have 2 Alter Cloud cards, which is great, but that's kind of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 question mark cards that we would like or would be fine with playing, but it's not like, I'm also not super convinced, but it could be a secondary color maybe. For blue, Pogword is great, 2 Blunders are fine, Lowstone Needle is great, Siren is great, Sentries are fine. Oh, we get 2 Staunch Crewmates, so that is great, and also a Scout. So blue is looking playable, and also the Pirates. We don't have, Blunder is an instant, so that could get rebounded with OGR. That's good. I do like blue more than white. We're saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, 12 cards that would be solid to playable. So there's that. Black we already dismissed. Red doesn't look too deep. We got Militia, 2 Wonderglyphs, which are great. Plundering Pirate and Rumbling Rockslide, which is more playable in sealed than in draft. Red doesn't look very good. And then what about green? We have Spelunker, Twists and Turns, no Frogs, which is probably the best common in green for sealed. Armored Kincaller, Brontodon, Axejaw, 2 Cavern Stompers. Blue, green, such a great archetype in LCI. Yeah, that was sarcasm. This is a tough pool because blue seems like the color you want to play the most. Green has some goodies, but both colors don't mesh very well together. So there's also white. Black is definitely a no-no, and red, well, there's Captain Storm, which is quite busted on the curve, and if it has things around it, and we do have like early game. But if I were to play this pool, I think I would try to build blue, green. We don't have frogs to splash things. We do have a sunbird, which could be fine. And we do have 1 compass gnome. Buried treasure also more playable in sealed than in draft, as well as boulder. But we do have. No, we don't. We don't have a. Yeah, we do have promising vein. So blue, green splash something, but it's not like there's anything in the other colors that you would like to splash. Like splashing a rumbling rock slide would be so sad, but it's not like we have other removal, so it just gets really difficult. I think that's how I would have maybe built blue white. Maybe is the way to go. Honestly, because we had 12 playables and 12 playables over here, so we can still kind of like mash things together. But I did go with blue red. Interestingly, I think I let Captain Storm pull me heavily into blue red. But looking at this, I think either blue white or blue green maybe were the correct builds. But this is what I built in the end. So we do have 2 Wonderglyphs and Captain Storm, Plundering Pirate. Those are great cards to play with red, but the other cards, Rockslide, Volcano, Blade Master, well, Militia is also pretty good, but the blue looks great, but red does not. So seeing this at this point is making me think that it was not good. And also something that I have noticed, and this was before, of course, I played more sealed, is that the aggro decks are not as good as in draft, in best of 1 arena. And well, spoiler, the record was 1-2, and we will see how the games played out. But yeah, I think this was a mistake from my side, to play blue-red assertive, because the deck looks quite clunky. I mean, there's still a plan, there's still a low curve, and still trying to get things done over there, but maybe blue-white mid-range or blue-green would be the way to go. Let's check the games. So first of all is on the draw. So this is a keep. We have both our colors, 2 drops, and we're on the draw, so we're hoping to draw more lands, and we can also cycle the boulder. So Diamond Pickaxe, pretty good card, not what we like to see. Play the tap land. They play Swamp, Enterprising Scallywag, which is fine. We still don't draw the land, so this is starting to get a bit sketchy. Now, doesn't matter whether we play Crewmate or Militia, they can equip and get in, so might as well just play this and try to find something. And we find Clockwork Wrestler, which seeing that we don't have a lot of mana is going to be good. Much worse when it's revealed, of course, but it's always a card you should be trying to play around if possible. So, but of course, if it's known, then it's even less impressive. So, equip and attack, and no follow-up, but the treasure over there can still help them. And we, of course, don't draw the land, so that starts to get really sketchy. We could decide to, if we play another staunch crewmate and we draw something else, then we have to discard, which is not ideal. Playing the militia also quite sketchy. I decide that I need to cycle and try to hit the land. So I do get in because this is not blocking. Oh no, I actually play the militia. None of the options are really good, but that makes another treasure. Korean minecart. Yeah, especially when we continue to not draw lands, we're going to have a tough time. I say like, hey, we need to draw land somehow. We do draw the land, and we get in. But then our opponent has a Paladin's Hatcher, and I just concede on the spot because we're way too far behind. We would need to draw a Rumbling Rockslide, I think, and we don't have the mana to cast that. So it just doesn't make sense to play anymore. So missing a land drop over there and the opponent having an impressive bomb as Thatcher really made this game like almost a non-game. We are on the play on this next one, and this looks much better. So we do have Oaken Siren, which allows us to ramp a bit, and we're on the play. So it's a bit of a sketchy keep because if we don't draw lands, this can also not get there, but Sunfire Torch. We play the crewmate. Maybe we should have played the 1-2 because it could allow us to get us some mana there, but well, big side conservator, that's completely fine. We don't draw the land again, and we do draw the Wonder Glyph a bit, one turn too late, which would have been better to draw here. Missing the land drop is pretty bad for us. They equip, and then Dowsing Device. Interesting. I don't like this card at all. They do get in with that, and they do decide to sack and kill that. We do draw the land, which is great. Get in, Wonder Glyph, and we now have Pogwork, Tinker's Tote, coming up the ground. That's a lot of triggers. Everything gets in. It's a bit scary, to be honest, and they did flip, so they did get one extra land. But at least we get Pogwork to eat the Conservator. So it's anyone's game at this point. We do get to pitch one sentry and draw a land. This card is just amazing, like fixes your draws in the early and the late game. Really love a Wonder Glyph, and it even triggers the descent for this thing. So starting to look a bit better right now. Let's see what our opponent follows up with. Definitely not an impressive follow-up. Lodestone Needle. Our opponent starts to get quite far behind. Cycle a land. Opponent apparently forgets that this thing has trample and just throws the gnome over there. And then Scout. We get even an extra counter because the 2-1 died. And again, a Wonder Glyph would get us here. It would be pretty bad, but also we could then follow up with a militia and maybe ping them to death. So it's also looking pretty bad for them, and they just concede over here. So this time our deck worked well, even though we missed a land drop again, but the cards just worked well together, and our opponent didn't play bombs or anything spectacular. They even played a questionable card as the Dowsing Device. So on to the next game. Not the best hand, but a playable hand, and this time we draw lands, so we're really hoping not to draw more. We are on the play. Well, Rock Slide is not a land, so it's good to have that. Play the Sentry. The Militia is probably not going to get in very much, so if we do draw an artifact, it's better to have the 3/3. Poison Dart Frog, pretty like that card in Sealed. We do draw another land, which is not good, so do get to ping one thing there, and they ramp into a pretty good 4-drop that continues to ramp. This game is starting to look very grim for us, especially if we draw more lands. We try to explore and we get a counter. We keep the Blade Master on top. Would I have bottomed that before? It was probably a bottom. I think keeping it on top is a mistake. We need more action than that. Get in. That gets in. And then Appraiser, also a really great card. Discovers Clayfired Bricks, because why not? And yeah, this, I mean, Crewmate is one of the best draws that we could get. And see me, we get another Shipwreck Sentry. Not very good, but it is something. Then tap, Sunbird, Frog, those things get in, try to block, and then there's a Cosmic Blast for the 4/4. Those trade, try to ping, but this with the Clayfired Bricks on the battlefield, like this game is doomed, and I haven't been able to get more damage in. Yeah, I mean, they would need to draw all lands, I would need to draw all gas, and even then I'm kind of screwed. So yeah, I think this game went wrong from the very beginning. They had a great curve of Mammoth Auric into more ramp, and then I just didn't draw good cards. I couldn't put the pressure, and I couldn't do the follow-up as in the previous game. The previous game, I just like plump, 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 bam, everything. But in this one, just very clunky draws and not enough, and the opponent is at too high life for the Militia to be impactful. And this is just going to take over the game, and I don't have anything in my deck that could turn that around. No bombs. So yep, short-lived run 1-2. All right, let's move on to our third bullet in the qualifier play-in. We open a third pool, and it's starting to get a bit annoying that I think normally I usually fire 3 bullets for arena opens and or play-ins and whatnot, because I don't want to spend the whole day playing MTG, have other things to do. We open cards. Angel, great card. Paleontologist, great card. Larcenist, one of the biggest bombs in the set, so definitely much better. And then, manlands, which are nice to have, but not bombs themselves. But these rares are definitely better than from the other previous 2 bullets. Larcenist especially really, really good. Hopefully we can play. Resplendent Angel is a card that can win games on its own, but you also need to be careful with it and not pump and get owned with a removal spell when you pump. Paleontologist, this card is Frog, but so much better even, and Frog is already a card that I really like in Sealed for green. But it's also super good in the late game because it just dominates graveyards, and there's a lot of graveyard synergies that get shut down by Paleontologist. And if you can also recur some dinosaurs, then you're just in for a good time. So it looks more promising, and let's see what we have. 20 green cards is great to think with Paleontologist. Blue is also not super shallow. White and red look shallow, so that's bad news for Resplendent Angel. 2 Petrifies, it's great. They could be splashable, but yeah, not otherwise. Too shallow. Quicksand Whirlpool is also splashable. It's also a removal spell which you can splash in Sealed. But yeah, Resplendent Angel being double white looks like sadly would not fit in well with this pool because we just don't have enough meat to make white work. And then for red, also like very little meat, too much air. So unplayable cards over here, and just like a few playable, but definitely red and white are not looking good. So it looks that we're gonna have to play some Sultai. And then with black, we do get one Deadweight, one Echo, Tithing Blade, Visage, and that's it. So really not good. Black is also not good. Ideally, we don't have to play, so that really leaves us with blue green. So we're hoping that the blue and the green are good, but we do have Paleontologist and Larcenist. So with blue, we have Needle, which is great, Pogwork. Not as good in sealed as in draft, by the way, because early combat is not like so crucial in sealed, but Needle, Siren is still a good card, Pogwork. Needle and Siren, amazing. Scout, Sentry, playable. Crewmate, amazing. Larcenist is a bomb. Scout, amazing. Then we have Unlucky Drop, which is very playable, and Pirates. And Detect Echo can be playable if needed. So blue is solid enough, and now we're hoping that green is also playable. So Battlecliff, definitely good. Seeker, playable if you need, but hopefully not. Paleontologist is over there. Frog. Okay, we get a frog. With frog and paleontologist, we can definitely start to think about splashing, and we have some white splashes over there. So that's great. King Collar, Scavenger, good if you can descend enough. In the presence of ages, potentially good if we have descent payoffs, but hopefully not. Jade Seed Stones is solid. And oh, that's nice. Really nice top end. We have X-Jaw, 2 Stompers, and 2 Bristlepacks. So the plan of ramping into bigger things is supported in green. And we also have blue. Again, blue-green, not the best combo in LCI. But we do have a frog and a paleontologist, which allows us maybe to splash some removal. Red doesn't have removal. Black has some removal, but not good. But 2 petrifies and a whirlpool is definitely some removal that we can splash. And we also have a compass gnome, 2 compass gnomes. So I think splashing blue, green, go for the late game or ramp into threats and splash some removal looks good. And we also have some caves, quite more caves than usual this time around. Hoverstone Pilgrim, we're not like a huge descender. We don't have a lot of descent payoffs in green or blue, ironically, even though those are 2 colors that care. The only real one is Detect Echo to get some flying, but I do end up in a similar deck to what I have explained. So there we go, blue, green, and I splashed 2 petrifies. So I decide to play it like this. The curve looks good, and we're trying to ramp and maybe put some haymakers over here. Try to stall out, ramp, put this, and hopefully we're able to go toe to toe with other bombs. And we have some removal to deal with some bombs. The prairie over here, nice to splash because we're already splashing white. And Sunken Citadel is also, by the way, a great splash enabler. So just like a tap land of the color that you want. That's good. So I go with this, and what do I leave in the sideboard? The Scavenger, I don't think we're enabling descent good enough for that to be good. Otherwise, it would be nice. Over the Edge could be playable if we were short on playables, but not. We're not. And then the Pirates, we just don't have enough artifacts. And the Crewmate is also not looking super good. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits with the crewmate. So this is also going to be weaker than usual. But 6 hits, it's not the worst thing in the world. This is still better than Augury of Bolas, because that one only saw 3 and this sees 4, so that increases the chances so much more. But yeah, I do agree fully with this build, and let's now check the games. So, game number 1, we're on the play. We draw this, and Frog being good already, because we don't have blue, but with Frog we do have blue, and then we can play Siren too. Siren also not super amazing in this deck because we're low on artifacts, but still it's still a card that does quite a bit, and we do have a few artifacts and potentially something that can grow the Siren with the Jade Seed Stone. So very happy with this hand. They play a tapped red. So again, Frog here, if it survives, we're in a good spot. So no abrade the Frog, please. 2/2, that's completely fine. We're still not drawing green, but not drawing blue, but we are able to play this, and yeah, that's beautiful. There's an argument to keep that removal spell, but this just, you get a 2/3 Vigilance Flyer. That just looks amazing. So, okay, opponent plays a bomb, and this Frog is not just going to ramp us and fix us right now, but potentially can also trade with this 6/6. Otherwise, this is already a problem, but nice that we can fly over it, and the Frog matches well in the late game with that. So we do draw the blue, and now we play Echo to be efficient with our mana. Draw more cards. Oh, Jade Seed Stones. So if this survives, we can maybe put a lot of counters in that and maybe go to town. Get in. All right, Dinotomaton. They don't get the drawback of this because now they have a Dino, so take 6. Ouch, goes to the face. And then here, I go with Stomper. Yeah, Stomper is a nice stabilizing play. So like, they haven't. Well, they wanted to maybe get aggressive with this, so we're maybe trying to test the waters for some removal. Let's see if they have removal for Stomper. If they use the removal on Stomper, then they haven't used it on Siren, so that's something to be said for that. We scry a land and Bristleback to the top. Now, I think I made a small mistake, so I want to play the Bristleback, but I thought like, okay, next turn I can have 6 mana, 6 lands, but then if I play the Crewmate, that's going to shuffle the 7-drop away. So I have 6 mana already. Maybe I should just have kept the Bristleback and then play Seed Stones and Crewmate the next turn, but I did keep the land on top. And I do get in with these 2 things, so 5 damage to face. That is nice. So do you have removal for the Stomper or for the Siren? They don't have removal, but they do play Colossodactyl, which is stone blocking my Siren, and they don't attack. They could have attacked with the Dinotomaton and offered the trade with the Siren. Now, Siren is quite annoying for them, but I guess it's not as annoying with the Colossodactyl, so I probably would have traded. But if they had attacked with this first, maybe I just take it, and then they could have played the Colossodactyl. But, well, now I draw the land. So put all of that there, and now I can attack past the Colossodactyl, and I'm putting a lot of pressure over in my opponent over here. And well, I do keep this poisonous over here, Death Touch over the Hammerskull, even if the Stomper gets removed. And the next turn we do have a 7-drop, so let's see what happens. Okay, they put Seed Stones and they spread them. So now I can no longer attack with that. So trying to stabilize over here. Getting with 7/7. Now I don't mind trading with either of these 2. If I trade with this, it's 1 less thing, and with Colossodactyl, it's also then I could get in with a 5/6, so they need to do something about that and be cautious about um, staggering size. So this block does seem correct. So exchange 7/7, and I play 7 drop, and we do have the Jade Seed Stones, which will gain us a lot of life and create a 7/7. So we're chilling a bit for now, but opponent is on low life. They do have a Jade Seed Stones to come back, but again, we do have the mana advantage. They do cycle. That's okay, and we close this card is pretty bad in my opinion, but they play it. They equip it, and they cannot even attack with it. So this is being like not just mana spent, but also mulligan. So there must be some expensive things over here if that's what they went for cycling and getting a land. So opponent is kind of like not in a good spot over here. Okay, we draw the prairie, and if I can play this and then next turn attack, they're pretty much dead. They need to start removing things, or maybe remove the frog, because yeah. So I play the prairie, and I play the 7/7, gain life, and this is starting to get out of hand for them. Next turn I can play this. I can activate this, and then everything can maybe get there with an anthem. They play their Stomper, but that's just not going to be enough. So activate, attack, get in, and they look a bit how they could block, but even blocking everything, they just dead. So nice game over there. Even though they had a strong hammer card in Hammer Skull, we navigated that game pretty well. So now we're on the draw, and we draw this. That's sadly a mulligan. We have Larcenist. Would be nice to have another land so that I would not need to mulligan this, but I do have to mulligan, very, very sadly. Okay, we redraw, and we redraw with Larcenist, so that's great. We can put back one of the lands, the island, play plains, draw another land. I don't want to play the Fogwork on turn 1. We're a late game deck. Putting pressure with a Fogwork in the beginning doesn't make any sense. So better to get value out of it. Okay, Capybara, not scary at all in the early game. Now we play blue. Again, Fogwork is like a trick over here that we want to preserve. Okay, well, I decide that I don't want to take a lot of damage from this, so I'll go with that. And they do play this again. So green-white normally not the deck for descent. So do they have like green cards that enable the descent? Because these two cards without descent's quite questionable. Okay, and here, yeah, I would like to play something that's not Larcenist, but I don't have anything else to play. So Larcenist into next turn Jade Seed Stones is going to be pretty good. So let's get in there. Why not? And do you have? Even Wadley's Final Strike would not do anything over here. Okay, that's okay. So they decided to go for the 5-drop and sack this. So they do get this out, but then this has been like kind of a Flame Tongue Kavu. This is a bit of a problem. It's quite big, but I do have the Jade Seed Stones to get some time. And I decide to put all the things over there. I decide to take it slow because I do have the Stomper coming up at some point. And oh wow, I even get aggressive. Yeah, I think what I think about is, hey, I don't want to be exposed to tricks or anything. I have this coming in soon. We can trade some blows, because if I try to block with this and then they have any kind of trick, then the Jade Seed Stones has been bad. I think about putting all the counters on this and maybe try to go on race. But then a Petrify would like destroy me over there. So I decided to like make a threat out of the Fogwork, get in, trade some blows, and with Cavern Stomper coming over here. So that's what I ultimately decided to go with, but I could see distributing this a bit differently. This card makes for some decision gameplay that is just masterful. So what does the opponent follow up this with? Not an impressive follow-up. Card's pretty poor. They explore. They do get a 6/5, so now this would not be able to hold this back. And another descent payoff. But we haven't seen a lot of descent enablers in their deck. We do take a pretty hefty punch, which hurts. Another Cavern Stomper. So sadly, we're gonna be burning all this mana over here. So I say, like, let's continue to do this. They decide to jump. All right. Okay, they even sack the 1/3. Not sure about that, but I guess they see that I don't have removal, and so they decide to go all in on that. Ouch. Oh, but they also get descent, so I understand why they decide to do that. So this is a bit scary also for me. I do have a 7/7 coming in and bottom the Echo, but get this one online because I can play it the next turn. And I hold this back. I think this is a correct thing to do, because if they get if they remove this, well, if they remove this, I'm screwed, because this becomes an 8/7, and then I cannot double trade with that. So maybe I should have gotten in with Larcenist. But I think my view was like, okay, I want to trade. I want to keep things over here. So hoping they don't have removal for the Stomper, and if they attack with both, do the trades, and then I'm far ahead because I draw a 7-drop, and I can also get this to gain me life after this has traded. So hopefully no removal for the Stomper. Walk with the Ancestors, not the card that is going to push them over the top. They get that, but now they don't have Descend. They discover the Gem Guard, which is a nice discover because it's a 4-drop. And they don't attack. Okay, so now I can get frisky. Okay, they just jump block. But I have this thing over here. So even with one removal, which they didn't have the previous turn, on the 5/5, I'm still surviving. And then there's also a crackback over here. So I do like my position. That is not removal. Okay, they can put more counters, and they put another counter, 8/7. That gets in, but I do have enough things on the ground to block. So get away the last scary threat from the opponent, and now this is just starting to look very, very bad for the opponent. Yeah, they jump. They're almost in the abyss now. Draw another 7-drop. So this is nice and sealed. With commons, we're just like playing 6-drops and 7-drops and overwhelming the opponent. And they just still draw a land. This is just not going to be enough. Still taking it slow. It's not lethal if I attack with everything. So, and I need to be careful to not be exposed to a staggering size. So happy to keep on trading, get that life back, and now opponent is in a really big trouble. I think that's GG's for them. Yep, decide to just attack, and opponent concedes. So again, another game where patience, and it was a bit sketchy when we burned all our mana on turn 5, but then we've played 6-drop after 6-drop, 7-drop, 7-drop, 6-drop, and opponent couldn't keep up. And Larcenist did a like Flame Tongue cavalry impression. It did ramp them to the veteran, which was a scary threat for the opponent, but still, it did its job very well. Bomb. Then the next game, we're on the draw. And yep, definitely a hand to keep. 2-drops, 4-drop. Sadly, it's not an artifact, so we cannot play this on 2 and then ramp into this. Awkwardness between green and white, but that's what we have. Blue, we draw a cave, so put that on first. Mephitic Draught, which is not a card I like, but blue-black would lead me to think that they're control, so they probably can sack this or craft with this later or something. Play the 1/2 in case we draw artifacts and we can be efficient with mana. Tithing Blade. This card sometimes is bad, but it's usually quite solid, especially in the early turns, and I don't like losing my Oaken Siren. It's a pretty good card. Would have preferred to lose the crewmate, but I just need to potentially, yeah, like, I mean, maybe Jade Seed Stones would not be the card to play on turn 4 against blue-black because they can just bounce or kill my Siren. But the point stands that if I had drawn an artifact, maybe I could be more efficient with the mana. Anyway, play my 2-drop, and I whiff. What did I see over here? Can I see it somehow? Yes, I do. And sadly, none of those are artifacts. It's a risk with only having 6 hits and whiff. What can you do? Snail, annoying because I do like all the cards that I have in my hand. Don't want to get rid of any of them. And I just get rid of Petrify since I don't have the Splash Enabler so far. Hurts, but that's what happens. And then the Ancient One. Scary card, but needs to be enabled. And a Petrify now would have been amazing to put on this, but I mean, it's not like I could cast it, so... Next turn, and I draw the white card. If I knew I had a Plains, maybe I would have taken out something else. Maybe the Bristleback, since it's a while since I can cast it. And then I could Petrify the Ancient One or something. But play the Axe Jaw, and I bottom the Battleglyph, since that does not deal with this thing. And also the Battleglyph is just like a prey upon at this point. I'm not going to be able to play the Bristleback, so I decided I want to try to get to other stuff. I could have seen also keeping the Battleglyph on top though. Okay, so they draw go, classic draw go. So definitely not the best point to play Seed Stones because they could have anything. But is that what I do? Well, they have Unlucky Drop. And I do play Seed Stones into open mana. Yikes. I think I say it because I can just distribute into 2 things. I think I just want to get in with the Skull Cup Snail. And thinking like, okay, maybe they just want to activate this. Which can be scary. They have currently 0 cards in graveyard. So they would need to discard a 7-drop. And then they would activate Ancient One. But even then, all of those things would need to be permanent. So I think I just go for it, yeah, because I could also keep Unlucky Drop up. But I think I just go with that and it just gets countered, all right? Getting with that, and they just jump block, which is reasonable because maybe they have another chance or they want to feel their descent, and they also gain 5 life. But now that also unlocks my 2/1. So, okay, that is a pretty nice card. Open back, but then this also makes the Unlucky Drop look pretty good because they spent 5 mana with that, and I can just answer with 4 mana. That also gives me more time while I'm tramping to that, so I think that's what I do, indeed. They do put it on top, yes. Just get in. 7 damage is not nothing. Get in. They replay it, and I draw another land, which is nice to play with this. So get in with that. Offer the trade, completely fine with me, and play the 7-drop. And then we also have this cave coming up. So opponent needs to answer something, needs to do something over here. Iceberg doesn't look... Maybe they should just like hold this and try to... They have only 2 things to feel in descent, and it's risky. And if they take this damage, then they're almost dead. So, but Iceberg is not going to do the thing for them. They do mill an island, which increases their descent. And 3/1 does something, affects the board a bit. But so crack the cave, see what we get. 2/2 Paleontologist. Okay, this is really good against their deck. Get in, and what do? They activate, and then they discard what? They discard Council of Echoes. Okay, they do mill a lot of stuff, so there's another chance, and I Join the Dead. Phantom, nothing impressive, but another chance and Join the Dead, really good, and Unlucky Drop, also pretty strong against some of my big fatties. But the problem is they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8 permanents, so this is online, but the paleontologist is just going to own them right now. So, yep, activate, kill one of the things, and just get in, and it's dead. So paleontologist is just completely owning this matchup. Otherwise, the ancient one would have been able to do something over here. But yeah, really, really cool game. All right, next game, game 4 on the play. So this looks like a really good hand. 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, and with all our colors, so definitely a keep. Play our 2-drop. They play Siren. I really love this card. Getting 1 point of damage because that is always important, and I'm threatening here Pogwork plus Pump, so if they want to play it safe, they shouldn't block. I think losing a Siren in blue-white hurts a lot, so they should definitely just take 1 damage, and that's what they do. Play our 3-drop. Lots of tapping. Okay, Sunbird, so they are ramping quite a bit, and then +2 to put it on that. Sounds good to me. We block on the land, so we can't play X-Jaw, sadly. We do have Needle and Siren now, so we have a few options. We can also try to crack the map to explore, but we are not going to play the X-Jaw today, this turn, sadly, which would have been pretty good on the curve. So we do crack and explore. We do get a land, so it's not bad. Then they block. I'm still threatening Cogwork plus Pump, but losing that 1-2 is not the same as losing the Siren. So I agree with opponent here. Take 2, and then play Siren to ramp myself. We have both Yates, Seed Stones, and Loads and Needle that we can use. So definitely like that line of play. They get in. This opponent does remember that they can get in some points of damage. And then Master's Guide Mural. So they can have a good end game. Looks like so far they've been playing some good cards, so their pool also looks good. So we go for the Jade Seed Stones, get very aggressive over here. I like putting this to confront this and also to get very aggressive. They need to do something now. They need to answer. They couldn't answer the flyers, or they haven't decided to answer the flyers, but now they do need to answer flyers, because otherwise I'm going to this 2-3 cannot face these other two. So let's see what they decide to do. The 4-4 can get in. I'm winning this race so far. Wow, and they decide to craft already to get that in play. That doesn't look good. They are almost dead after the next 2 attacks. X-Jaw comes in, and we put Didact Echo. It's not looking good versus 4-4s, but this can trade with 4-4s. Get in. Now they're low on life, and I have Loads and Needle up, which I can use to do for the Siren. All right, that hurts the Siren, but I still have time to put that over there. And if they want to get in, now this is lethal for us. This was not a correct play for them because this can pump. So I'm just going to take this. Oh, I don't take it. This is a mistake from my side because I should take it, go to 6, and then the next turn I untap. They are completely tapped out. Attack with everything. They will block one of them, but the other one pumps and gets in the last points of damage. So missed the lethal. Oh wait, of course they can create the next one. So no, I'm misreading now on 17 lands, and probably I was able to see on Arena that was not possible. So blocking the life over there is important. Get a Cogwork Wrestler, which is great. Explore, get another land, get in, and now they really need an answer for the scout or they're dead. But this could go wrong if they manage to answer my scout, then I'm in trouble. They get in. I do decide to trade now. Okay, they gain one more turn to the scout, and they play a cave. So they have some outs. Yep, can play my Cavern Stomper, so that is great. And I decided to put a blue and an island and a Stomper on top island, so I can craft this. I'm still fine with going to the long game. They do have this to try to outvalue us, but so far we are playing to the board. So they crack that. They get an Iceberg. Iceberg is not the best tempo play over here. They mill a scout. It's good that they cannot play that. They do get to get an extra 4/4, but they don't attack, and they just concede because they didn't have an answer for our scout. So really nice. Let's go to the next game. We are on the draw. So 2-drop, 4-drop. This does look like a keep, but we're hoping to not hit a land with this, or else we will fall really behind on tempo. It's the reason why this card has underperformed so badly this set. So they play a 2/2, pretty much a vanilla, although that ability has come in relevant sometimes. Completely fine with us. We do want to play our 2-drop. We do draw land. Well, what can you do? At least we do have fatties to ramp into. But see, a 1/2 versus this 2/2 is just embarrassing. They get in. This card is a pain, and I always forget that I cannot cast spells in their turn. So hopefully it's not embarrassing this time. But now I can play a scout. And I'm still taking, if this were a 2/3, we would be like in such better shape to block this, you know. But oh wow, that is starting to get out of hand. And yeah, I cannot block any of these two. Take 8. They draw 2 cards. They draw 1 card. So it's just 1 or more creatures. So that is good that it doesn't get out of hand that badly, but it's still getting really, really good. So on 4 mana, there's options. I can play the Jade Seed Stones. I can play the Axe Jaw. In both cases are bad versus removal. There's also possibility to explore and use the Clockwork, but that's not a very efficient use of mana. So I definitely need to play a 4-drop. And in this case, maybe Axe Jaw is the best thing, and then follow it up with Jade Stones plus Clockwork. This is what sounds more reasonable to me, and that's exactly what I do. Explore and keep 1 on top, the Stomper. That is a good blocker. If I can survive until then, I'm on the back foot over here. Really need to try to survive. And I do keep these things back because I want to try to play around staggering size. So I'm going to definitely double block over here. Okay, that's not threatening. And they don't attack. I would have definitely blocked. So no staggering size, I guess. No removal because they would have removed this and then they would have gotten there. All of that is important, and this is key because if they still had something to snowball this, it would be super hard to get back from. But that's exactly what we want to see. So I decided to play the tap land so I can guarantee the Stomper. So play the Seed Stones. I know they don't have removal, so I think I'm keeping the Wrestler for now. Make these things a bit more relevant, and to play it safe, I should wait here because they can also activate this. So I'm not in a hurry. And this is coming, and this is coming afterwards. So we can once we have locked down the bases, we can start to attack. So that goes in. I put everything there to play around every possible trick. Yep, they have a Cosmium Blast. It's completely fine. We're still trading stuff over here, and well, that's it. Nothing else. Of course, they can have something at instant speed, but this is looking very good now. Cavern Stomper, put both Petrify and Prairie on top. I cannot cast Petrify right now. Oh, I will be able to do so with Paleontologist, but I should probably be putting this first. Although it doesn't matter too much because this enters tapped and I cannot play that. So, well, in case of duress or something, I should keep Petrify after the Prairie. But now I decided to get frisky. They haven't shown me removal. They could top deck removal, so it's a bit risky, but okay. And they do show me this, which is fine, and that's great. Here you can see why this card, when you're in the aggro plan, is a bit off plan because it did not help them to push damage against me. So they had removal, but not removal that helped them push damage. Thankfully. They leave everything open. They haven't cracked this, so they are planning to do something with their mana this turn that is important to take into account. I decided to explore. I left it on top because I wanted to explore and draw the land. That makes complete sense. Now play Paleontologist. And okay, what they had in mind was to create a 1/1. That's completely fine by me. I'm doing much bigger things than what they are doing, so they draw, okay, a 3/5. It is a flyer, so gotta be careful with that. And I decide to resurrect the Axe Jaw, so I'm starting to already think on the late game. Explore, and I put the Nautilus on the graveyard and petrify that, since it's the only real threat, and even play Siren. So slowly deploying everything. Okay, that's a bomb, but I do have board, so I just need to play it very safely now. But yeah, they have drawn now a bomb, or they drew enough lands. That's also maybe why they didn't crack this one, because they wanted to get to 7 mana. Makes complete sense. So grind game ahead, play our 7-drop, gum the ground up a bit more, and start to peck in. They get a big boy. We also have a big boy incoming at some point. Activate the ability to take away stuff from them, and I can pretty much also like take away any artifacts, so they need to actually sacrifice something on the board if they want to craft. So that's good. Compass, no, not the best draw over there, but I do decide to craft, and I craft with the Scout probably to gain 3 life. There we go. Get in. They are at a high life total, but all points matter. And yeah, we just need to be careful with this, and we should have good draws going forward. And they looked like an aggro deck with some things, but of course they can always top deck like a glyph or something, so we still have to be careful, you know. Tendril is scary because it can transform things into 7/7 in this late game stage. Take away everything from their graveyard. And also something that I'm not taking into account is that I cannot play Pogwork. Like I remember in this game I was waiting for them to attack with this and then play Pogwork and then give them less attack so that they create less gnomes, but I cannot play Pogwork when Kutsul is here. I decide to get frisky and attack with a 7/7, trying to force this trade, probably. They create an artifact over there that makes them trade, and I do petrify the Myco Tyrant. Crazy that I decided to petrify this thing instead of that. But this can get scary at this stage of the game, and I'm trying to like bait them into coming with this, forgetting that I cannot Pogwork. So yeah, they sacrifice that thing. Hunter's Blowgun, not the best thing, but it does give death touch to things at this point, so they could start to get in with some of these things, and that is annoying because I'm not at a super, super high life total. But anyway, they go with that. And I'm like, yeah, I said like, okay, Pogward, come in. And I'm like, oh crap, I can't because of Quetzil. So get all of that in. I do block that, and that dies. So I have to block with this because otherwise they can, if I block with more than other things, then that's not good. I could block with this to then resurrect it with a paleontologist, but better to get 1 for 1. And they do get like a lot of tokens here. Okay, attach it on that, and then start to recur my dinosaur. So here paleontologist is the better late game engine now that this is shut down. So getting with a 5/5, and they just take it. I wonder why this is tapped. I think something is wrong with 17 lands. Anyway, I do play my big baddie. Oh, okay, and then I get Larcenist, so that's great. And play a gnome, and do not move anything because I want to keep the Larcenist on top. Then they sack the thing. Okay, they get a removal spell for the 7/7. 7/7 here was dangerous because all of this blocks, and I need to be careful. There's a lot of crap here on the board from them, and I cannot take 2 alpha strikes, so I need to still be defensive and play it safely. So that comes in. I do trade, but this Bloken is actually doing some nasty things over here. So still take things out from their graveyard with Paleontologist. Super, super grindy game. Okay, and here, yeah, this is kind of like not crazy. The 17 lands is a bit growing crazy. I do remember I did put this outside range so that it unlocks my Pogward, but maybe I should have just taken out the Hunter's Blowgun because this makes all of these things threats, and then try to just win with these things. Quetzil at this point is not that big of a deal, but I did go for Quetzil. Okay, Scavenger brings back. They try to bring back something, but then Paleontologist owns that. So it doesn't bring back anything. That is amazing. They can get a lot of things with that and then attack. Okay, now I finally do Pogward and eat it. Continue to grind out with Paleontologist. Unlucky drop is a good draw. I crack Malamet Glyph, kill the 3/3 so that there's no more gnomes. And this starts to slowly swing into my favor. I need to be still careful with alpha strikes. Oh, and Blogan gives reach, so definitely should have used the Larcenist to take out Blogan. I can do that. I can choose one other target, artifact or creature. Yeah, I could have done the Blogan. It's funny that Tendril and Blogan were the good targets when there was like Thunderhawk and Godzilla on the board, but that's just how late game this was. Then another Stomper is just great news. And keep those things on top. Why not? There are gas. Continue to do they start to jump and they're in the abyss. Okay, they're trying to get somehow last points of damage in, and they cannot scry to anything else, so they just give up. That was super, super grindy game. We got on the back foot really, really early, and then thankfully the opponent whiffed when snowballing their advantage, and we were able to crawl back into that game. They did draw a bomb, gummed the board pretty badly, and then just because we had better quality of cards in general, and especially this Paleontologist, took over the game. So that was a really fun game. Final game, also on the draw. All our colors, also Frog and Siren and King Color, just really great hand. Definitely keep. Black. So play my Frog, please don't kill it. They cycle. So they could maybe have a defossilize or something like that they could accelerate that. All right, so this is definitely a bomb, Preacher of the Schism. Not nice to see that on curve. So now we have 4 mana, and I'm pretty sure that we need to needle this to buy us some time. I could play King Collar and Malamet Battleglyph, but then this has Death Touch, so not a good idea. We do have Paleontologist ourselves, so I do decide to play that, and I'm going for the Lodestone Needle plan because I don't want them to start getting card advantage that way. So Huatli's Final Strike, and they target my Frog. Interesting. I would have targeted the Paleontologist since it's just a better Frog, but I guess they target the Frog because right now it's threatening to block and Death Touch, so that's why they target the Frog. Makes sense. Now I Lodestone Needle. They have that buys me some time, which is important. And I go for the mana efficient play. I reveal that, gain 3 life, and get 2 things down instead. Although X-Jaw would be pretty good, but I'm thinking to do X-Jaw plus Battleglyph. So, all right. So our opponent hit the jackpot and has like 2 super good bombs, and I'm guessing some recursion in black-green. I believe this is the highest win rate card in the whole set. Not nice, but this is definitely not over yet, and I do feel confident about my deck. Petrify is excellent. Excellent draw. Really needed that. So first X-Jaw. I should have probably petrified this, because I think what I wanted to do is X-Jaw Glyph with this. Yeah, I wanted to X-Jaw get 5/4 and then Glyph with this, but actually that's not good because this returns as a land and then you can resurrect, so it should be petrified and make them work if they would need to sacrifice it somehow to try to get it back. So definitely think that petrifying is correct here. And I don't want them to attack because otherwise I have to discard cards and stuff. So this is just like a nonsense card. They shouldn't print this kind of cards, you know. Or they should, so that we can beat them and feel good about ourselves. So we do draw the land, so I cannot Battleglyph, and we just run lucky ourselves, and now we do petrify that thing, get in. So this is going to come back online again. Captivating Cave, Echo of Dusk, completely fine, and yeah, they have like a really nice deck. Like Wadley's Final Strike is also good. Just the Dino is a bit fodder, but otherwise showing me really good cards. And now the Battleglyph is just a prey upon, which is not the best. So this is going to come back online. I only have 1 artifact to craft with this. That is not an artifact, so we do get in. They decide to block with that, so maybe they have another chance. But I do want to trade my Axe-Jaw with the Preacher so that I can then resurrect it with this. They decide not to attack, to not give me that, and I do. Thankfully, I have this, which also allows me to take away things from another chance. So that, again, Paleontologist being amazing, and we can resurrect our King Collar. So, really good. Oh, nice top deck. And that's what I play. Put an island on the bottom and the 7-drop on the top. All right, Bitter Triumph. And you know what they decide to attack to. They have just that 1 card in hand, 3 life, and Aklatot. So 1 for 2 so that they can bring this big baddie back. I mean, you love to see that they have to do that, but yeah, it is a problem. It's going to come back now. So there it is. It does come back tapped. And Myco Tyrant. And then they're close to dead now because I can activate that and that goes over things, but they still have some life. I do activate that, get in, and put this in and gain life. So they can go to 7, but then they need to draw something else. Otherwise, this is going to get there. Okay, they can always put things on that. They could have put it here, and then they would go over. But then that's the whole turn. I could battle glyph something out of the way. So it's kind of a race, and they're still in the game because of how ridiculous this card is. They put it on that. Okay, so that it can block this. Makes sense. Okay, another Petrify is just excellent. Draw. So decide to get that out of the way, and then Petrify the other. Activate, and they're just dead. So some lucky top decks over there, which was necessary against those bombs. And probably some other ways to win. But here we see the power of having splashed some removal, being able to use it only on their bombs, and just the high card quality of our deck in general was good. And that is a record 6-0, which allowed qualified me for the qualifier day 1. And this last deck was a blast to play. Interesting also that my first 2 decks were quite assertive, but they were just poor draft decks, and the bombs still were key in the seal. So it was better to play a more reactive deck with still some curve, of course. You cannot abandon the curve, but with a lot of big fatties over here, which act a bit like bombs in that the opponent needs to answer them. And then stuff like Paleontologist to have the late game. Seed Stones also gives a good late game and stuff. So really, really cool how the games played out. Some of them were grindy and sweaty, but overall, really happy how this all went. So thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for day 1 and then for day 2 on how I qualified for the AC5 and the Pro Tour. Thanks very much, and see you.